When the nervous system is triggered, everything is urgent and dangerous. Or curiosity slows that down just a hair, just enough to let you start observing without coming to conclusions. So you may be thinking feels really uncomfortable, but maybe it's not an emergency. And that small shift, just that little bit of space, can make a big difference. Do you want to achieve your goals, but anxiety is tripping you up? Like to keep those fun weekend plans, but depression has you counseling again? Hey, I'm Lori, dog mom, lover of nature, and hygge enthusiast. Positive psychology skills help me overcome chronic severe PTSD. If you're ready to learn how to overcome your anxiety and depression and rediscover happiness and purpose in life, then get your cozy on and let's get started. Welcome back to Practical Solutions for PTSD, and I'm super excited as we're returning to our Not Broken, Enabled series where we're talking about the 24 character strengths that are covered in the Values and Actions survey. I am super happy to dive into this one. Today we're going to be talking about curiosity, which is not one of my signature strengths, but it's really, really close. It's like tucked right underneath them, so it's pretty high up there. And I have a lot of fun with this one. And for those that know me and used to call me the why child, you totally get why I love this character strength. We're going to have a lot of fun today. But before we jump into that, I did want to remind you, if you want to figure out what your signature strengths are, you can go to viacharacter.org/character-strengths. And the link is also in the show notes below. You can get that there. But you can take the survey, and it's not difficult. It's free, and get a really good handle on what your signature strengths are and build your personalized toolkit to help you deal with anxiety and depression. Speaking of the personalized toolkit, this is a classic example of how I work with you individually in my anxiety and depression breakthrough coaching session. And that is to help you identify these things and help you personalize actions and how you can use these character strengths to help you overcome anxiety and depression in your life. So if you want to be able to do that, you can reach out and schedule an appointment with me. Just go to calendly.com/practical solutions for PTSD. Again, that's calendly.com/practical solutions for PTSD. And you can set up a 60-minute coaching session with me, and we can start working on that and help you create a breakthrough strategy that can really move you from isolating depression into joy-filled living. So once again, that's calendly.com/practical solutions for PTSD, and you can set that appointment up today. So let's jump into this character strength of curiosity, which I'm really excited about. I love this one. It's a lot of fun. And there's some really, really good things that can help you as you're dealing with anxiety, depression, and all this other fun stuff that we talk about here. But let's just kind of define our boundaries first. And as I mentioned last time, it's really important to understand how the words are defined within the bounds of the survey that we're dealing with. And so we want to dig into that a little bit so we understand what we're talking about. Now, looking at curiosity in a general sense, this is a desire to explore and discover things, take an interest in ongoing experience for its own sake. Curiosity is often described as novelty seeking or being open to experience. It's associated with a natural desire to build knowledge. It's fulfilling to journey towards an answer, to engage in a new experience and to learn about new facts, like going to a new restaurant, visiting a new city, meeting new people in your class. Now, this one, just a caveat on this, curiosity is not one of my signature strengths, but it's really, really close to the top. And meeting new people always terrified me, but this is because I was more introverted in nature. So some of this is going to also be influenced by other aspects of your personality and will come out in different ways. There's also another thing is like you'd really like to do research, and sometimes I can go down my rabbit trails or rabbit holes and be gone forever as I research things, and I have to pull myself back and kind of draw a line in the sand somewhere. But you really enjoy new experiences and new information. It's just very intriguing. So there's two basic components for someone who has curiosity as a character strength. One, they're interested in exploring new ideas, activities, and experience. And two, they also have a strong desire to increase their own personal knowledge. Now, when you take all that information and you put it in the lens of someone who's recovering from PTSD, they're dealing with depression or anxiety, it's going to look a little bit different. And while curiosity is all of those things, it could also come in as something much quieter and more tender in a situation. So it could be the ability to look at a situation and instead of going, oh, what is wrong with me? Curiosity can say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's happening here? And it can help you to begin to research and look into things and find out reasons why things are happening instead of just jumping to the conclusion that something's wrong with you. So it isn't about necessarily about gathering information or pushing yourself to explore when you're dealing with trauma. It's about reducing the threat. And as you know, with PTSD especially, it kind of flattens time. Like you feel like what happened 10 years ago is still happening today, or the things that you're worrying about in the future, if you're dealing with anxiety, that you're dealing with that right now. And it kind of flattens that time where curiosity gives you a little bit of space around it to be able to think about it and explore what's going on instead of just jumping to a conclusion. So it's not a task, it's not something you have to add to your to-do list or something like, oh, I've got to figure out how to be curious. It's just a posture that you're going to take where it helps you step back a little bit when it's safe to do so and to explore some alternatives. So, what could curiosity look like in regular life? I've mentioned some of this already, but this could be like exploring new places, new restaurants, asking thoughtful questions. People that have the character strength of curiosity, this is an excellent one to use in building relationships because it enables you to listen, to truly listen to people when they're talking to you and to ask thoughtful questions and to really just dig into that and explore that relationship and help build it. So, in positive psychology, curiosity is about growth and engagement with life. With trauma informed perspective, a curiosity has an even deeper purpose. And I've alluded to this already, but curiosity helps shifts the nervous system from survival mode into observation mode. Because when the nervous system is activated through trauma, whether that be depression, anxiety, PTSD, whatever form that you're dealing with where you're stressing out the nervous system, it often has that urgent and dangerous feeling. Thoughts speed up, reactions get intense as the body prepares to handle threat. So curiosity slows that down a bit and helps back you off of those, trigger reactions. It creates just enough space for you to think about it before you're reacting. So you might think, this feeling is really uncomfortable, or I'm feeling really anxious right now, but maybe it's really not an emergency. And can we just stop and think about it for a second? And that small shift, a tiny little shift, can make a huge difference in your healing. So, curiosity in this context is not about finding answers. It's about attention without alarm. So, it's allowing you to look into something without being alarmed about it and trying to take some of that urgency and anxiousness away from the situation. So, most of the time, curiosity is going to show up in simple ways. It's asking questions instead of making assumptions. Trying something new without needing to love it. You can try a new dish and go, well, that's disgusting, and be perfectly fine with that because you tried something new and that's really cool. Learning something just because it caught your attention. It could be intriguing. And so you go down this little rabbit trail because you want to be able to pursue that information. But there's also an internal form, and especially again when you're dealing with trauma, that you can use is internalize this, and like, oh wow, that was a really strong reaction. Why did I react that way? Or oh, my energy level dropped so low. I'm curious what my body is needing right now. Now this one, I will say this: my friend Anne, she's really good about this. She's very good about analyzing her food and figuring out what gives her energy, what she needs to include and exclude for that. Curiosity is absolutely one of her top strengths. But that is a really great way to implement that. And another way, like with seasonal depression, you could be saying, like, this time of year is really, really hard for me. Why is that? And what might I be able to do to help make it a little bit better? So, for people with anxiety, curiosity can be a gentle replacement for self criticism. It's very easy to be critical of yourself when you're dealing with PTSD or anxiety or depression. And so, this helps replace some of that instead of, because it's judgment free curiosity is really what you want to strive for. You're not trying to, call right or wrong at this point. You're just trying to figure out what's going on. For people with depression, curiosity can reconnect you to the world without demanding enthusiasm. You don't have to be super excited about it. You're just trying to figure out what's going on. For seasonal depression, curiosity invites small exploration when motivation feels really low. So when I mentioned this in my newsletter last week, but January is absolutely a low energy month for me. And so my desire to do these great, grand, and glorious things is pretty low. But my curiosity can help just, bridge a little bit and, kind of ask a little bit of those questions that can keep me from being completely deadlined. So it doesn't ask you to feel better. Curiosity doesn't ask you to feel better. It simply asks you to take notice of what's going on around you. Now, I've mentioned this before when I did the introduction, and then we did our first character strength last week. But every single character strength, as wonderful and amazing and incredible as all 24 of them are, they all have a dark side or a shadow side. And this is usually when a strength is overdone. It's used in the wrong context. It can be used to manipulate others and a few other things. And the same holds true with curiosity. Curiosity can get out of balance as well, just like everything else. It can turn into restlessness. It can become distraction or constantly searching and searching. You're constantly on looking. And in a trauma survivor, this could look like hypervigilance. You're always scanning for danger. You're always analyzing the situation. You're always asking why in a way that keeps the nervous system activated in hyperzone. If you're dealing with anxiety, curiosity can become a compulsive Googling where you just keep going and going and going. Reassurance seeking, where you're constantly needing someone to reassure you that it's okay, or endless self-analysis that never actually brings relief. So you never actually come to a conclusion like, this is it, let's just draw a line and move forward. You're constantly analyzing yourself. And for someone who's dealing with depression, I alluded to this earlier, but curiosity can actually disappear altogether. And you just don't have the energy. You don't have the emotional energy or the emotional real estate to give up for curiosity. And then that can turn around and make you feel bad. You're just like, man, I used to be interested in things. Why can't I care anymore? Why is it just like, blah, I don't care? There's something that's really important to understand. And one is that is not a character flaw. It's typically a sign that your nervous system is overloaded. And so you're withdrawing as a form of protection. So when your nervous system feels safe, again, curiosity will return, because that is one of your character strengths. If that was one of them, it still is. It hasn't gone away. It's just temporarily in hibernation until your nervous system feels safe again. So one of the goals in this series is to provide you some tips on how to use the specific character strengths to help you in healing and overcoming whatever form of trauma you're dealing with. So how can you use curiosity to help you deal with PTSD, to overcome anxiety and depression? So for PTSD, curiosity helps separate the present from the past. And again, I alluded to this earlier, but instead of assuming danger in the present because of what you're dealing with from the past, curiosity can ask, like, okay, is this happening now, or is this just a memory I'm dealing with? That single question, just that one question, can help lower the psychological arousal that you're dealing with PTSD. When it comes to anxiety, curiosity interrupts the catastrophic thinking. Because wow, if you have curiosity and you tend towards catastrophic thinking, well, you can come up with some really creative things that could go wrong. But then you can interrupt that. So when fear says something terrible has happened, curiosity can respond with, What am I noticing in my body right now? So it brings the experience back into something concrete and manageable. So on the dark side of curiosity, you could just go on the runaway train and never come back about all the terrible things. But you could use that same strength and discipline it and train it and work it a little bit and help you to put some distance between how you're feeling and the catastrophic thinking and say, wait a minute, what am I noticing in my body right now? What is it telling me? And how can I use this to help me get better? For depression, curiosity offers engagement without pressure. So if you don't feel motivated or hopeful or don't have the energy to really engage with life a whole lot, that's okay. Curiosity simply invites a small moment of contact with life again. You don't have to get super excited about it. It can just be a small moment that you're reconnecting with life. For seasonal depression, curiosity can gently replace dread with exploration. So, maybe if you're struggling with seasonal depression, you could say, I wonder how my body would respond to light if I used a happy light. Or if I, snuggled up under a warm blanket, would that help me feel better? If I tried rest, you could go back and listen to the Hygge series I did that was tied to how to use that for seasonal depression. And you can look at, different ways that you can implement that and see if that would help. That would be an excellent way to use your curiosity. Keep in mind, curiosity does not fix symptoms, but it does create space around them. And it's in that space where change becomes possible because it gives you just a little bit of space to explore. So, assuming that curiosity is one of your strengths or something that you would like to develop, how do you develop that? How do you help make that a component or tool that you're using to fight back against PTSD, anxiety, and depression? What are some ways that you can do that? So, the first one is to follow one gentle question at a time. Try to rein in that curiosity if it's overflowing, and just one. And also, if you're feeling overwhelmed, limiting yourself to one can help moderate that anxiety because you just have one. You only have to pursue one question at a time. So choose something small and simple for the week, and like maybe you can look at what helps you feel slightly steadier, and you can explore that, have fun with that, focus on that one question, and then try another one for next week. So no pressure to answer quickly, just stay open and find out where it's going to take you. Tip number 2 on how to grow your curiosity is to practice mindful noticing. So try noticing without interpreting what it's meaning. So like, my chest feels a little tight right now. Just stop right there. You don't have to try to figure out why. Just the fact that you notice that it did. Or, wow, something's got my thoughts racing really bad. They are just flying. Wow, this is crazy. My thoughts are really going nuts. So just observe. You don't have to create a whole story right now. And that's just one small step you can take. Now, if you're up to it, you can start pursuing that a little bit and try to come up with a way that you can help counter some of that. But initially, if you just want to try to get into that, just ask a question, make that an observation. That's all you have to do. Tip number 3 is to replace judgment with wondering. It's so easy to be critical of ourselves, right? I mean, this self-criticism and negative self-talk can be so difficult and so hard to overcome. But when self-criticism shows up, experiment with shifting that just a little bit. So instead of saying, why am I like this? Try asking, I wonder what this part of me needs. So when I'm reacting this way, there's something that's triggering that. And I wonder what it is that's making me do that. And it might lead you to some answers that can be helpful. Number 4 is to keep curiosity small. And this is something with me. Sometimes it can get out of control. But curiosity doesn't need to explore everything. Just try one sensation, one thought, one moment. That's enough. You don't have to go all out and do everything. I tend to be an all or nothing person. So I just want to jump in with both feet and go charging down that pathway. Not the greatest thing all the time. So just rein that in a little bit and help just focus on one thing at a time and help yourself. It'll keep it from being too overwhelming. And the last one is use curiosity in relationships. And I alluded to this earlier, but curiosity is a great tool for developing relationships. So asking questions about them and instead of assuming, that you know everything about what they're doing, what's going on in their lives or whatever, you can just start asking some gentle questions and something that, open-ended ones that have them talking a little bit more. Listening without judging. And so just listening to gather information and to learn and to truly listen, not listen waiting to respond, which is a whole nother discussion, but listening and just truly listening without judgment. And then genuine curiosity can help you create connections with people as you learn more about them and let them open up and share a part of themselves. So curiosity grows best when it feels safe and contained and not forced or demanding. So by limiting yourself to just one thought or one question or whatever, it makes it feel safe and will help you to develop that a little bit better. So as we're wrapping up today, remember this: curiosity is not about pushing into the unknown. It's about approaching what's already here with a little less fear. You don't need to be interested in everything. I know it's tempting, but you don't have to be. You don't need to analyze yourself deeply. You only need enough curiosity to stay connected to yourself. If all you can manage today is noticing one thing without judgment, that is huge and that counts. So curiosity is not the opposite of fear. It's simply what helps fear loosen its grip. So you can be curious and fearful at the same time, but curiosity can give a little bit of room around that to help loosen the grip of fear. So there's a reflection I'd like to leave with you this week, and you can think about this as you're going forward. What might change if you approach one part of your experience with curiosity instead of criticism? So whether you're dealing with PTSD, seasonal depression, anxiety symptoms, loneliness, isolation, whatever it is you're dealing with, whatever it is you're struggling with, what might change if you approach one part of that experience with a curiosity instead of criticism? You don't have to answer right now. Just think about it and notice what comes up. Maybe that's something you could just ponder this week, over the weekend, and just see what comes to mind about what could change. And you can use this character strength of curiosity to help you have a breakthrough in your own life. Quick reminder, if you would like to schedule an anxiety and depression breakthrough session with me, just go to calendly.com/practical solutions for PTSD, and you can set that up today. Hey, my friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you please take 30 seconds and share it with someone you know who may be struggling with depression and anxiety? Also, would you please leave a quick review for the show? Knowing how this podcast is helping you fills my heart with so much joy, and it motivates me for future episodes. For now, it's time for Sam and I to head outside to enjoy some sunshine and fresh air. We'll see you back here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for more great episodes.